This video is going to be a bit of a life update. I've been missing in action for a long time from a lot of my social circles, whether that be in real life or online. There's so many, and that's kind of part of the problem. I've been struggling a lot. As of today, which is Thursday, August 8th, I think. It's been over 2 weeks since I last saw another human being that wasn't my husband. So yeah, I've been in I've been in survival mode. Yep. And Ranger agrees. I've been in survival mode. So I just wanted to explain a little bit about what's been going on over the last, I guess, year, because that's when it really started. Yeah, does it feel weird to be uploading this to a YouTube channel that has maybe 3 videos total on it? Yeah, sure, but also one of my goals was to use my YouTube channel a bit more, so mission accomplished. 2 birds, 1 stone. 2 birds, 1 stone, I guess. So yeah, I guess if you wanna hear the full story, then grab a cup of tea or something and we'll just chat. Okay, so everything kind of started around July last year. My 30th birthday, beginning of July. I decided that in my 30s I was going to sort myself out a bit more. I spent so much of my 20s just floundering and not knowing what I was doing, where I was going. And I have so many more tools now that I felt once I get my ducks in a row, as it were, I'd be unstoppable. I'd be fine. So I started with going to the doctor to get an ADHD referral. Which went through, well, no, the referral didn't go through. The appointment went pretty quickly, and they sent me a self-referral questionnaire in the post, which arrived a week later. I filled it in that day, and I took it back to the GP that day. And that day was July 21st, 2023. And long story short, I'm still waiting. But since then, the traits and the symptoms that I struggled with the most have only gotten bigger because I'm more aware of them and almost looking for a cure. Well, not a cure, but some kind of help to deal with them. And the longer I go without that help, the worse the traits and symptoms feel. The main traits that I struggle with are, well, you can probably tell. Struggle with eye contact. I even have a mirror thing on the back of my camera, but that doesn't seem to be helping just yet. We'll see. Yeah, this. Thinking. My mind goes blank all the time. I struggle to focus on stuff. And when I can focus, it tends to be a hyper focus, which takes a lot of energy, physical and mental somehow. And then I crash afterwards, and it takes me sometimes days, weeks to recover from that hyper focus because I spent so much energy on that. And then a lot of the time it just feels like a lot of my brain power, a lot of my information, things that I know, just isn't accessible to me. It's like someone's limited my RAM, almost. Like, I feel like I should be so much smarter than I am. Because I know a lot of stuff. I just can't access those thoughts a lot of the time. And also sensory input. I really struggle with a lot of noise, stuff like that. Bright lights I struggle with. Not necessarily lots of light, but long periods of light. So in the summer, I struggle because it's light for so long. Yeah, I found it increasingly more difficult to cope because I felt like I should be getting help and wasn't. And it was around the autumn that I stopped streaming. I really do miss my Twitch streams. They gave me a lot of joy and connection to people when a lot of my life is spent on my own. And I built up a nice little community for myself on Discord. And yeah, I miss doing those live streams. But I also felt like I'd lost the purpose of those live streams because I was setting these expectations for myself about what a proper stream is, and what should be done in those streams, whereas that was never the reason for me streaming in the first place. It was always about showing my process to people and being able to have company while doing my work. Because, like I said, I've just spent 2 weeks here on my own. Being an artist can be lonely. You spend a lot of time sat at the desk at home on your own. And I just lost sight of why I was streaming. I was trying to scramble to come up with new and exciting ideas to get people to come in and watch what I was doing, and trying to switch things up a bit every week, and that was taking its toll on me, because I wasn't just sitting down and doing some art, whether that be sketching or finishing a piece or just coming up with ideas. It was, yeah, I was trying to be something that I didn't necessarily want to be. And then other life circumstances as well stopped me from streaming. So I lost that connection to people there, that routine as well. It was every Wednesday, and I had a routine. I'd go for a walk with my mum beforehand, and it was always the same walk. Well, nearly always the same walk. And I had that routine, and I lost that. But also, during this time, I went through a bit of an identity crisis, because the more research I did on ADHD, the more I became convinced that I have inattentive ADHD. And at this point now, I am 100% convinced that I have inattentive ADHD. And it led me to think that all this time I'd been trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, and that I'd been trying to be someone that, to be honest, I knew I wasn't. I always knew there was something different about me. I didn't know it was neurodivergency, but I just always knew I wasn't like everyone around me. But I was trying to be that. I was trying to be a functioning member of society, and I was trying to get a job and a house and all those things that the regular people do, that just wasn't working for me, because it's not something I can easily achieve with the way that my brain works. And I just didn't really know who I was anymore. I started evaluating myself on such a deep level, to the point where I was writing down lists of what I like and what I don't like, because I was just analysing everything. And it felt like I was burning down my past in a way. I got angry. Like, I went into a depression, but it wasn't like all my other depression where it's always been a sad kind. I was angry. I was ready to burn down my past self, set it on fire, walk away, start again. And that began a chrysalis phase, what we call in Temple of Chrysalis a chrysalis phase, because resurrection requires death, and going into that chrysalis, you basically, like a caterpillar does, you become goop. You like break down into a pile of goop and then rebuild yourself in that chrysalis, and that kind of lasted all winter for me. I eventually stopped trying to burn the past so much and got less angry, and actually started thanking my past self for the things I'd learned, because without going through that, I wouldn't have known to even look at ADHD, to even think that there might be some explanation as to why I'm struggling so much with these simple day-to-day tasks, why I struggle to focus, why my brain just flits from one thing to another all the time. So I had some counselling over the winter, which really did help. And I would advise to anybody struggling at all, even just a little bit, counselling helps, but also having the right counsellor helps. So if you're all like, it didn't work for me, try it again. Find the right counsellor. Rant over. But I also struggled a lot with winter depression. I always get winter depression to some extent, but this winter, with exceptionally bad weather, there's no such thing as bad weather, but it was raining constantly for months. Everything kept flooding. Our garden, I've never seen our garden, front or back, as muddy and as wet as it was. It was a quagmire everywhere. And I like the rain, but that much rain just made me depressed, because I couldn't go out for walks even when it stopped raining for a little while, because everything was just flooded. So I struggled more than usual, and then with all this chrysalis phase on top, I just shut down, to be honest. I just closed myself off. I needed time to just heal and work things out myself. So that's what I did. I not intentionally cut communication, but I did start cutting off the avenues that I didn't use as much. So maybe Discord communities that I wasn't as active in, or what have you. If there were some Twitch streamers I would watch, I wouldn't chat as much. Because social interaction, for me, requires a lot of energy, and at this point in time, I didn't have enough energy left over to spend on social interaction. So I did just sort of close up a bit. But then moving into the new year, it got a bit better. Once the weather stopped raining, and I could get out and about a bit, and I felt like I could breathe a bit, it got better. After my counselling sessions were done, because you have like 6 weeks, and then, because mine was over Christmas, there were a few weeks break in between, so yeah, it ended up in the new year. After my counselling, because I still felt like I might need more, and I have counselling with Pont Havern, a wonderful mental health charity local to here. They wanted to keep me in-house, basically. So they sidestepped me from counselling to their one-to-one support system, so that if I ever felt like I needed counselling again, I would just re-refer myself, and it would kind of fast-track me a little bit through that waiting list of normally about 12 weeks. So I had a meeting with a support worker, a one-to-one support worker in the spring, and told her my situation with my ADHD referral, that I was just still waiting and basically struggling with anything in life because of my traits that I'm just not getting help with because I've not got a diagnosis yet. And I told her when I handed in my referral, and she was concerned because she deals with clients who are on their journey for diagnosis a lot, and she just dealt with someone who had only had to wait for 5 months. At this point, it was August, September, October, November, December, January, February. I think it was about February that this was going on, so like 7 months. So she got a bit concerned, and because she had contact in the assessment centre, she said that she would chase up my referral for me, but that she also couldn't really help me any further until I get a diagnosis. Which was a bit of a bummer, but at the same time, someone was looking out for me and chasing this up for me. So, I heard back from her a few weeks later, and apparently this assessment centre had never actually received my referral. It had never actually left my GP. And so they were going to chase it up themselves, and the referral was going to be backdated. And I heard this in March, and I still haven't heard anything about that. So I'm still waiting. But in the meantime, fast forward a bit, the weather warms up a bit, it's spring, comes to about May time, and I had entered myself into an art exhibition, a local art exhibition, and it was the second year that I've done it, and it went so well last year that I was more than happy to do it again. And in my preparation time, which was stressful, always preparing for an exhibition or a market is stressful for me and requires a lot of energy and a lot of thought and focus. It's also quite inspiring at the same time. So it's not a bad thing at all. But I suddenly got pain in my lower back, on the left-hand side. No pain in my leg at all, but just sudden, it felt almost like nerve pain, kind of just above my butt, between my butt and my lower back. And it caused me to limp quite a bit because it was being agitated when I was walking. And I didn't really think anything of it. I just, painkillers, hot water bottle, and just deal with it. The art exhibition itself was really, really good. I talked to a lot of people, a lot of great people, artists and customers alike. And it was at this point that chrysalis phase ended, and I could almost feel myself shucking off that shell of the chrysalis and becoming what we call in the Temple of Chrysalis my first imago, which is like a semi-enlightenment almost. And I just felt this deep connection with my true self almost, and a lot of it was relating to my artwork, to be fair. I learned, well, I didn't learn, I believed in the value of my artwork and that it has a unique magic about it that speaks to people for that very reason. That's why they like my artwork and find it different to everyone else's, is that spark of myself that I put in there, that magic that makes it unique. I believed that my artwork should be seen and presented in professional spaces, and I also realized that I don't need to fit into the preconceived ideas that I have of what a professional artist is, or what I think other people think a professional artist is. I realized that I'm doing hand gestures and they're not on the screen because they're down here. Oh well. Next time I'll zoom out a bit. I also believed deep down that I'm allowed to do things in my own time, in my own way. And I'm allowed to dance to my own rhythm and write my own story and enjoy my life in ways that are unique and personal to me. Because life on this planet is short. Our lifespan is short, and we need to be able to enjoy it. Simple as. And the ways that I enjoy life are going to be different to the ways other people enjoy their lives, and that's fine. They don't need to agree or care about how I spend my time. It's my life. And that also includes working with my brain rather than fighting against it, because ADHD is primarily dopamine deficiency. If I need to do something that increases dopamine, then I'm gonna do it. Obviously in healthy ways. If that means I sit and play video games for a few hours, fine. If other people think that time would be better spent sat at my desk doing art, well, tough. I also, in this moment, started seeing my accident in a new light. For those who don't know, about 7.5 years ago, I had an accident at work where I shattered my right elbow. I had to have reconstruction surgery on it, and in the healing process, I never fully regained the strength in my right arm. And surprise, surprise, I am right-handed. So that's caused a lot of problems, and I saw it as a problem. I saw it as this life-changing tragedy that ruined so many things for me. I was on my way to having a career in nature conservation, in countryside management. I was spending a lot of time volunteering with the RSPB, going out and into the fields and repairing fences and cutting down trees and stuff like that I can't do anymore. And that sucks, not only because I enjoy doing it, but I still see the people I used to work with doing those things, or I communicate with people in the ecology or biology spheres, and my heart just breaks. Yes, I'm jealous. Yes, I'm envious. But at the same time, a new light has been shed on it. If I hadn't gone through this, I would never have pursued my art in the way that I have. It would still just be something I did for a few hours every few weeks or whatever, I wouldn't have put so much time and dedication into honing my skills, and I wouldn't have my business. I wouldn't have my community. I wouldn't have started streaming. I would not be Lycan Child. I wouldn't be Lycan without that accident. And so many good things have come from me interacting with people as Lycan or Lycan Child. I have started a global online community project to create a children's storybook. Like, that wouldn't have happened, for example. So I now see that accident simply as a change. A very painful one, but a change. Like the butterfly effect almost. Because without that, none of these things would have happened, and who knows what will happen in the future because of it. So this all kind of happened during the art exhibition, this realization, this almost peace that I came to. I then sold an original painting, which was one of the best feelings in the world, and it was a complete stranger who bought it. He'd been around, and I'd seen him eyeing it up, and he went away and then came back, looked at it again, hesitated a little bit, spoke to his partner, and then looked at me and said, "I want that one." And it just felt amazing. So amazing. That this complete stranger who I'd never met in my life connected with my artwork on a level that they wanted the original and were happy to pay my price for it. And that was another thing during the preparation. I'd had pep talks about my prices because so many people were telling me that I was undervaluing myself. And I did eventually put a 3-figure price on one of my paintings, and everyone was so happy for me, but it was really hard to do. I literally felt sick doing that. Hopefully I'll get better at that. But yeah. So that was the art exhibition back in May, which was a huge kind of event for me this year. But since then... my phone died. I'm going to have to pause this and start again later. Where is the pause button? Okay, so my phone, camera ran out of charge. Had to go and charge that, so we're all good now. Been outside with the dog, had a cup of tea, had a bit of a reset, rest my voice a bit because it's getting a bit scratchy. But we're back. Trying to remember where I got to in my story. Art exhibition. The art exhibition went really well. The week after the art exhibition was utter chaos. Because not only had I had a large Etsy order while I was at the exhibition, but on the following Monday, my Etsy link got shared into a rather large live stream, and I got several more orders coming in. So obviously I had to put those together. But a lot of them, I think all but one of the orders involved stickers, and at this point I had just found out a workaround for Cricut design space software downgrading the resolution of my artwork for my stickers. So I decided, because so many of my orders needed stickers, I was just going to redo them so that they were good quality images, and I'd got some better sticker paper anyway, so I just set about redoing them. So on the Tuesday, the printer decided to have a hissy fit because I needed to change the paper in the tray from regular paper to sticker paper, and as I shut the tray, it restarted itself, and then it decided that it couldn't read the black ink cartridge. And after lots of faffing about and cleaning the cartridge and cleaning the inkwell and yada yada yada, we gave up and decided to replace the ink cartridge, which is a pain in the butt because I get my ink cartridges on subscription from HP. So I never have to actually go out and buy it. The printer just orders it by itself. So the only place in town that sold the exact ink cartridge I needed was Argos. So we checked that it was in store and in stock even, and yeah, it was showing as in stock. So out I went to go and get it, and tippy tapped on the machine. It wasn't in stock, but was available for reservation for 9 a.m. the next day. So I messaged Callum and said, I thought you said it was in stock. He said it's showing as in stock. And he checked, I can't remember whether he was on the browser and checked the app, or whether he was on the app and then checked the browser, but one or the other. He went to whichever one he wasn't already using, and that confirmed that it was not in stock. So I just bit the bullet. I just reserved it. Fine, I'd have to go out the next morning, whatever, just deal with it. So I did that. I went out the next morning, got the ink cartridge, put it in the printer, fine, working. So I printed out some stickers and I went to set up my Cricut machine, and I put the first lot of stickers on the mat, put the mat in, and for some reason it lost power, which was weird. So I just, restarted the Cricut. It was fine. Restarted the cut. But what I hadn't done, and what I'm normally very good at doing, is I hadn't made sure that the cable out the back of the Cricut with the transformer on it, I normally make sure that the transformer is on the floor, because we set up my market table in the living room to do my Cricut machine, because it's where I got my space. But this time I hadn't made sure it was on the floor. It was on the table still at the back of the Cricut machine. And as the mat then travelled through the Cricut machine, it knocked the transformer off onto the floor. And apparently there was a flash of light. I didn't see it, Callum did. And the Cricut lost power again and refused to turn back on. We were hoping that it wasn't the Cricut that was damaged. So the next day I took the Cricut and the cable with the transformer up to see my dad, because he has a multimeter, and he confirmed that yes, it was the transformer, not the Cricut. But that wasn't too big a deal. We could just order another one to replace it. I just cut the stickers by hand, fine, whatever. It was stressful, but fine. The main problem was the mat was still stuck in the Cricut with no way to release it without power. And we had no way of powering it to get the mat out of the Cricut. So I couldn't even put it away in the box. I had to find a big Amazon box to rest it in to travel. It was a nightmare. So I cut the rest of the stickers by hand, whatever, got all the orders sorted. I think I took a break. That was it. I did some of the stickers. Got out my brand new label printer, printed out the labels, set them ready. I only had 2 to do on the Friday, which I then cut the stickers for on the Friday, set up the label printer, went to print out the labels, and suddenly the label printer wasn't printing properly, despite the fact it was printing properly the day before. I don't know what the problem was, but because it's a thermal printer and Callum works with receipt printers quite a lot for work, he did some cleaning and stuff and he managed to get it all working. Obviously, this week of technological failures and problems and yada 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 was a lot of stress, and my back pain was flaring so badly that I could barely walk some of these days. Like when I took my cricket up to see my dad, I was barely able to walk. I was taking ages to get anywhere. But after about a week, that pain subsided. And I was walking around fine. I didn't really think anything of it. And then I went to a conference, and I ended up sat on a rather well, the chair wasn't that uncomfortable, but sitting on it for a long period of time, all squished together, was uncomfortable. For a whole day, and the next day the pain came back and lasted for another week before then subsiding. And it seems to be stress or tension related, but can be agitated by physical conditions such as the chair. But it really ruined my month of May, because it meant that for the whole month of May, which is one of my favourite times of the year, I couldn't go out for walks. I couldn't go for nature walks because I was just in so much pain. And when I get jolts of pain, it sometimes locks up my hip joint and locks up my leg. I don't get pain in my leg, it just locks it up. So my favourite time of the year, when the weather's just getting warmer, it's not too hot, it's not too cold, there's lots happening in nature, all the wildflowers are out, all the bluebells and the stitchwort, and it's just nature abound. I couldn't go out and enjoy it. I was just sat in bed with a hot water bottle and painkillers, being very depressed about the whole thing, especially because I'd waited the whole winter with all the bad weather. Yeah. And to this day, I still have problems with my back, especially when going for walks. The nature walks I used to go for before my live streams, I've done that a couple of times recently, and both times I have struggled with my back flaring up on the way back. It's fine on the way there, and then about halfway back I can feel it starting to twinge, and then by the time I'm on like the final stretch getting towards my car, I'm struggling to walk, I'm hobbling. And it's not even that long a walk, that's the thing. I'm used to walking so much further, especially with my history in nature conservation. Like, these short walks are putting me on my ass, and oh yeah, I don't know what to think about it. But I have booked a doctor's appointment and also put in a self-referral for physiotherapy. I did that this morning. So we'll see how that goes. But for now, I still struggle with it. Like, just today, I cleaned some stuff in here and put that printer there, and that's messed up my back, which is just stupid. But anyways, that was May. On to June. There was a rather an emotional incident that happened that I won't talk about here, but it did cause me a lot of distress, and therefore a lot of tension, a lot of anxiety, and it just messed with me for a while. So for a few days there, I was just a bit messed up anyway. But then, insomnia. I had 3 weeks of insomnia where I was sleeping maybe 2 to 4 hours a night, where I normally need 8 to 9 hours a night to be able to function. And that just threw me into a deep depression again, because I just wasn't able to function. I'm the kind of person that struggles to nap during the day anyway, because my brain is just too active. Like, I've been conditioned to make the most of the daytime, so napping is not a waste of time, but in the back of my brain it's a waste of time. And especially because this was during June, around the solstice, when there is the most amount of daylight. It was getting light at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. I was seeing so many sunrises, and there was just so much light, so much just general energy out in nature, and because I live in the countryside, I'm just, soaking up all that energy. I was struggling to function. And so I lost even more time in those weeks, just the days going by, because I was basically just a husk. I was struggling to function at all. If I ate and I drank water and I was able to have a shower, well, even showers, they take a lot of energy, so I was having baths more than showers, because I could just lie there. And like brushing my teeth and stuff. That was, as long as I was doing the bare minimum, that was all I could do. Even playing games and stuff to pass the time, I was struggling to be able to focus on them, because there just wasn't enough brain power from lack of sleep. And eventually we came to the conclusion that it's Callum's snoring. Oh, I hate this. It was Callum's snoring that was keeping me awake. Now, we don't know whether it was his snoring that's gotten worse. He could bring down buildings with his snoring, I swear. We don't know if it's his snoring has gotten worse, or if it's my sensitivity to his snoring and sounds in general that has gotten worse. But my insomnia went away as soon as we started sleeping in separate rooms. So we're still doing that to this day at the moment. We are going to look into seeing what's going on with that, but that's in the future. But yeah, I lost a lot of time there again because of not being able to sleep. And I spent most of July recovering from that, recovering my energy. We ended up going to visit Callum's in-laws, my in-laws, Callum's parents. We went to go and see Callum's parents for not even a week, it was about 5 days, at the beginning of July, and that's in very urban environment, so that had me on edge anyway. It was constant like noise and light and stuff like that, so I wasn't much use then anyway. And then as soon as we came back, we had a week, because Callum took 2 weeks holiday, we had another week where we decided to switch the rooms around. So this room we're in now, this was the bedroom, and then where our bed is now used to be my art room. But in the back room, it was kind of too dark. So it's a north-facing room, it's got one very small window, not much light in there. And I was just struggling with painting, because I just couldn't see what I was doing unless I had a bright light on it, and even then it wasn't the right kind of light. And yeah, so we switched the rooms around, and we've actually brought the PC that was downstairs in the living room upstairs, and that's in that corner there. So it's actually a bit of a joint office now, and when Callum has his scheduled day, he gets to sit over there, and we can body double, and that we've done that a few times now, and I found it so helpful, just having someone also sitting and working on something. But yeah, means that there's been a lot of change and a lot of stuff everywhere. Oh, bye dog. Yeah, a lot of stuff everywhere, and it's taken up a lot of energy. Again, mental, physical energy that a lot of the time I don't have in surplus. So it has meant that I have struggled to make art. I have struggled with having the extra energy for social interactions, in Discord, on Facebook, in real life. That social interaction has been sacrificed because I just don't have the energy. And unfortunately, it's gotten to the point where I've gotten almost too comfortable with my own company, that even though I do admit I'm lonely, I want the social interaction both online and in real life, at the same time something in me is recoiling at that because I've gotten too comfortable with my own company and my own silence in a way, because when I'm on my own, I'm in control of my environment, the sensory inputs that I'm experiencing. I'm in control of my energy expenditure. So I haven't done it consciously, but it's meant that I've just reduced the amount of social media posts. I've reduced the amount of Discord servers that I'm active in, mainly focusing on my own Discord server. We also, I think it was about a week into July, relaunched the Lycancraft Minecraft server. So there's been constantly a small group of us on there, and that's basically been my social interaction, is that small group of us on my Minecraft server. And then the one or two times I've seen my family. Other than that, I've just been trying to battle between preserving energy and not spending enough energy. There's this constant battle that I'm trying to find a middle ground, because obviously if I go out and spend some time with my friends or my family and I get that social interaction, that social energy, it does feed my energy. It does give me energy, and it's something that I can't get from other sources, but at the same time it's also draining. So yeah, I don't really know how to persuade myself. And part of the thing is, especially with real life, aside from my family, who, you know, they're busy, they do stuff, they go away, what have you, I only have a small group of friends, and they all live 35 miles away. So it's effort and energy to go and see those friends, and then it's effort and energy to sit and socialize with those friends, and then I gotta come back. So and then it takes me a day or two to then recharge my energy after that. So I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what I need. I don't know if anyone or anything can help me particularly, or whether I just need to wait it out and see. I am starting to just dip my toe into various Discord servers again. Basically just letting people know that I'm okay. But that's part of what I'm making this video for, is for the people that care, and have been wondering where I've been what's been going on. Instead of having to write a big text wall for so many different places, it's just easier just to post a video link and be like, this is what's been going on. So if you've made it this far through my video, thank you so much. I don't even know what to say anymore. Hopefully things will start to get better soon, and I'll be back to the same old Lycan, the same old Kaz that I know that I was, and I can be again, even better than before, to be honest. We'll see how things go. But for now, thank you for taking time to listen to me ramble about what's been going on, and hopefully you'll see a bit more of me again soon. Bye bye. Okay, so today's video is it's gonna be a life update. Ranger update. You have anything else to say, Ranger? Fantastic bloopers. You done? Can I keep going? I'll try again. Dogs are great. Ranger! A moment of silence and thought. This feels very weird. It's been a while since I've done anything like this. Come on, we can do it.